attended before you were on the board.
We were just talking about it.
Would you like to come out here and join us?
No, that's all right.
He does enough from
I
the
got enough
seat.
problems here. Is this broadcast?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't sure.
I guess it's just so straight.
My son asked me.
We got more
He
microphones
watches
than
it.
people.
Oh, good.
Nelson watches it.
Well,
Gives me a critique.
it is 7 o'clock. Welcome to the February 1st meeting of the Chelmsford Board of Selectmen, public input session. Will you please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. So yes, as you can tell, this is the only item on the agenda is accepting public input, questions and answers, or anything you have. So
My name's Arlene Martino, and I actually live in Littleton.
Oh.
I was here visiting you 2 years ago about the same matter I want to talk with you about tonight. That is the urgency of reenacting on the federal level the Glass-Steagall law, because there is a blowout in the financial system coming. The system's already starting to collapse in Europe, and it will spread here, and it's going to bring on hyperinflation if we don't reenact Glass-Steagall. It will be the worst financial crisis in the history of the nation. The really scary part is before Christmas, there were 4 good-sized banks that collapsed in Europe. And what they did is they expropriated the funds of depositors in what's called a bail-in mechanism. Now, the bail-in mechanism has been codified into U.S. law under Dodd-Frank. In 2010, when the Dodd-Frank bill was was written and passed, the Congress was on the point of considering reenacting the Glass-Steagall law, which is what they should have done, because what Glass-Steagall will do is it will I'll back up a little bit. It was FDR's 1933 law, which separated commercial banking from investment banking. 1999, it was repealed, allowing the speculators to once again gamble with commercial deposits. If we put Glass-Steagall back in place, it will allow us to bring the collapse down in an orderly manner, return the criminal gambling debt, $2 quadrillion, can never be paid off, return it to Wall Street. It will sink Wall Street, but save the Republic. Now, the real danger in a financial collapse is, in both world wars, financial collapse and World War went hand in hand. And you'll notice the push on the part of our president to get us involved in a war with Russia and China. That's the frightening part. That would be a thermonuclear war if we ever have another world war. I mean, President Kennedy knew that. He said a sword of Damocles hangs over the heads of every man, woman, and child in America. We can never, ever fight another world war because the one following that would be done with sticks and stones, basically. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to leave you with this thought. What I'm looking for is for you to, as a board, to write a resolution in favor of the actually rather demanding the reenactment of Glass-Steagall, and send it to Elizabeth Warren and Tsongas and Markey. Elizabeth Warren did write a revised Glass-Steagall law. It's called the 21st Century Glass-Steagall Law. It's been sitting in both houses of Congress for years now. This is the Glass-Steagall moment, so she needs someone to light a little fire under her, to stand up on, give one of her rousing speeches on the floor of the Senate. Glass-Steagall, that would be wonderful. Save the day for all of us.
she's good at that. I will. All right. Well, thank you for coming back and.
Take what I told you seriously, because the press is definitely under-reporting the crisis.
Okay. Well, we'll take this definitely under advisement. There's a few pages here to read, but we appreciate you coming back.
I make a motion that we put the chairman in his own study committee.
I'd want to review it before we did any kind of a letter.
Yeah, I'd like him to review it
I'll review it.
himself and maybe
You
put
want to review it? With that?
a letter together for us.
Sure.
I didn't know Lyndon LaRouche is still on.
There is a certain presidential candidate that this might not be a factor if he gets in.
Which one is that?
Bernie.
You're talking about Bernie? Oh, yeah. All right. Well, we are still in the public input portion of the meeting. If anyone else would like to address the board on any issues. See, we have a few candidates here this evening. Thank you for coming. Are we gonna have the candidates in to speak this year?
I think
But
we
yeah, but
should.
we're still in the,
Yeah, the
we don't
papers
have
haven't
any
been
official
filed yet.
candidates yet, because
Yeah.
we're still in the open
I was just thinking about,
papers.
Yeah.
if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah,
I don't think they're prepared, I don't think it's fair to them.
No, not tonight. I mean, at some point, because we don't have all the candidates here, but.
And plus, where the seats are open.
Usually it'd be at the beginning of March, because what happens is the deadline to pull papers is a week from Thursday,
Right.
the 11th, but then they have until the end of the month to withdraw, and then they get the ballot order. So usually we would do it right after that, because then they're on the ballot,
Yeah.
in ink, so that's, I think that's.
But why don't we
probably the
schedule,
first
why don't
meeting in-
we have Paul
first meeting in
schedule it?
March,
Yeah,
Sure.
schedule it, so we don't forget it.
Another debate for these five
No, just an
candidates?
introduction,
You
no
won't
back
have
and
to be in it,
forth.
don't worry about
Oh,
it.
oh, no, I'm just thinking of their time schedules and how
Yeah.
intensive
Well,
the
early
season was
on.
last.
Early on would be good, and March is pretty early, I think, early March.
What we have done in the past is just offered them a few
Tried.
minutes to introduce themselves.
I think our-
I mean,
I don't think we did it last year.
We did.
yeah, we've
Yeah,
skipped a
the
few
first
years.
meeting in March is the 7th, the first Monday
March
in
7th.
March, so it'd be March
Yeah,
7th if the board's
that's
gonna
good.
do it.
Well, come on up. And,
When these don't all go up, just to kill time.
okay. Well, you don't
My
have
wife
to.
told me to be non-controversial and to be a nice guy, so I'll do that tonight.
Yeah, but.
I just want to
I read
thank,
that on Facebook.
you did, yes.
I see the back of those
It's a good
pants.
I just want to give a thanks to Susan Gates. I had the occasion yesterday to go to a performance at the CCA. It was a Mozart performance, and you may think that's kind of long here for me, but, I've always had an appreciation of music from that particular era. And this particular group that they had there was made up of a violinist, a violist, and a cellist, and a young lady with a guitar, and a gentleman on that beautiful Steinway. And they played some wonderful Mozart music that was like what you had heard back in the 1700s, and then how you would hear it today in other music. And there was a very, very small crowd there. It was almost embarrassing, really. And that place has great acoustics. It's very comfortable to sit there. And I just don't understand why people don't come out and support that, because it's a wonderful venue for the community. And I think that people should really take heed of that, because, if we don't support it, we may lose it. So I think it's important that we do that. So
Very,
kudos to Susan Gates. And that was nice tonight. Thank you.
very, very great point. Thank you.
You have a new music critic in town, yeah.
I actually attended something in October, and that was sponsored over there. It was, everybody that knows me knows I'm a big Beatle fan, and it was a Beatle sound-alike group, and they were very good. I would say there were probably 75 to 100 people there, which was, I thought that was a pretty good turnout.
Good
So,
turnout.
But, she does do a great job, and certainly, that was diverse from what you usually have over there, so,
You can buy tickets online. It's
Yeah.
piece of cake.
Yeah. Oh, that's
and
good.
plus, if you're a senior citizen, you get in for $2 less, I
Little
think.
kiss, but that's okay. We're entitled to that.
Very good. I was thinking, I know we do have a lot of public input. We offer it at the beginning of every selectmen meeting, and we tend to do specialized public input. Whereas if we're looking to redevelop a park, I know there's a public input session right now, or the Center Village Master Plan. And when different issues come up, we tend to have public input sessions that I think drive out more people. But I don't know, I guess this is just a testament to the fact that we do have different venues. And I think people like to come out for specific issues for the public input. I know there were some comments online about this being publicized. We had mentioned it at the last few selectmen meetings, and it's been on the website. My only other thought would be if we scheduled something far enough in advance, we might be able to insert something in one of the tax bills along with like recycling information and other things. That would be the only other way to really get a direct piece of paper in someone's hand to get them here. But if anyone has any other ways we might be able to drive more input at the meetings here, I'd be open to it for the next one. Vivian, did you want to add something to this meeting before we move on?
All right, I made this up like 5 minutes ago.
All right.
Okay. On March 23rd and March 25th, the Chelmsford Dog Association is going to host a seminar that's kind of like the phase one of the dog park opening. And basically the seminar is going to be, the speakers will be Lisa Bird of Fingers and Paws Dog Training and Eric Merrill, our animal control officer. And basically it's It's kind of like to show people different dog behaviors, and even though you've got the best dog in the world who wouldn't hurt a fly, not everybody else's dog is necessarily like that. And if you get into a situation where you are wondering whether you should stay there or wait or do something, try to read other people's dogs and see the signs on whether maybe you should leave, and it's okay to leave. Come back another time. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of like, taking care of other people's kids. You're just reading their dogs and trying to keep yourself and your dog safe and things of that nature. And we hope a lot of people will come to it, even non-dog owners, because this kind of information can be used on a rail trail or at the cranberry bog or hop pond or wherever, dogs are running around, because we know they do. And everybody's welcome. It's free. It'll be, like I said, March 23rd and March 25th at the Police Department Community Room. It'll start at 7 p.m. And in the event we get snow, we have snow dates of March 30th and April 1st. So plenty of opportunities. We hope a lot of people turn out, and see you there. If you have any questions, by all means, shoot me an email.
What's the date of the opening for the dog park?
I haven't really decided on one yet. I'm kind of
Okay.
gunning for April 16th. We're kind of waiting to see what the weather does and what the spring brings out, because if it's
Yeah.
a swamp, I don't want to open it.
Okay,
Right.
no, I just want to get an
Kind of playing
idea.
it by ear, because the ground is very new to us. We don't know what to expect. Like I said, right now I'm gunning for the middle of April. I'm hoping it'll be a real, it'll be like a ribbon cutting ceremony, and we'll have invitations, and I'll ask for a few people to speak and things of that nature. And that's as far as I've gotten with planning that event right now.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, we have another. Good evening.
Hello, Pat Wojcik, 24 Elm Street. Since seems to be a venue for making announcements, I'll make an announcement about the Chelmsford Veterans Memorial Park. As you're probably aware, the town does not donate any money for that. It's all private donations that are used to maintain that park. On February 18th, they're having a fundraiser with Bertucci's, where anything you purchase that day, 10% of your total bill will go to the veterans, the Chelmsford Veterans Memorial Park. So it's a great way for them to raise some money. Also planning maybe sometime in June to have a car show over at the Alps if we can work everything out. But in the short term, February 18th at Bertucci's, go and eat a lot and drink a lot. And
How much did you say? 10%?
I believe it's 10%, yes.
Is there a
Goes
certain time slot that they're
the whole time they're open, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. or whatever time they close.
That's a really fantastic way to raise some money.
It's
Yeah,
the Thursday of school vacation week, right?
That's correct.
Just so people
Yeah.
can remember it, maybe easier that way, those who have parents and kids in
All right.
schools.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Any other public input? We do have a meeting next week as well, so if anybody has anything who's watching tonight but couldn't make it down to the meeting, you can come to our next meeting. You can always email us. All of our contact information is online. Shall we adjourn?
Unless Paul has anything to tell us, that
No,
I wasn't sure if you had
If you have
anything.
questions, I'd be glad to answer them. I
Interim.
think of dozens of topics, but I don't want to, just go off on.
Okay.
I think Paul did a great job last Wednesday night at the tri-board meeting,
Yes.
giving people the financial update of the town. I thought it was probably one of the most informative meetings we've had in the last 4 or 5 years.
I thought that was a great presentation, and I hope everyone takes it to heart as we go into the town meeting, that we are really getting to a crisis situation, and we really have to consider every penny that we spend. I mean, we cannot just leave the town manager hanging to try to support these programs with.
No.
And I think that I hope that the school committee got the message about the hiring and the severe impact that's going to have on the town.
On that note, the school department had at one time talked about hiring a person for taking care of the fields. Do you remember that, Paul?
Renting the fields.
Yeah, I don't know whatever happened,
Oh.
whatever came of that.
No.
Right.
Let me switch gears here. They talked about hiring someone to oversee all the custodians.
Right.
That's what it was.
Right.
But-
That's still in the works.
But the proposals they gave to us the other night didn't include that proposal. It included one head custodian in every school.
Right,
And
and
that's a
then
lot of heads.
And then a supervisor oversee, and that's probably the ultimate model they're gonna come back with.
Yeah,
is
that's, I
they
mean,
want
that's a lot
some-
of,
They want somebody to own each building.
that's a lot of bodies to hire,
Well, that's-
you know,
It's
and
probably 8 people with benefits.
Right.
Full-time people.
plus the supervisor of that person,
Right.
9. I
Right.
mean, are we gonna almost be up to what we were spending before? Probably not.
No, because that would bring everybody back
Yeah.
with benefits, but.
But, no, I think they have to really be frugal when they look at this because, you know, I don't know why they can't, if they do sub it out, why they can't find a way to have a supervisor over like 3 schools or 4 schools and then another supervisor over 4 schools. I don't think you have to have a head custodian at every single school unless, you know, you want to make sure the job gets done. So those people are paid lower than what a supervisor would be, so. I'm just throwing it out for fodder.
Well, they gave us 3 options. I think they.
Right, they're exploring 3 options and they make the call. Right, I mean, it's out of our.
I think
domain.
they'll, you know, they'll examine them pretty thoroughly before they make a decision. And I think they're aware of the financial conditions, you know. And I don't think it's an easy one, but I'm sure they'll do the right thing.
Right. Has anyone heard any other movement from the state? I know we've had a little bit of good news, but as far as what the House of Representatives is thinking with their budget and tweaking, I know they've been starting to get a little bit of pushback from the MMA and some other organizations to increase local aid, but
The House Speaker's made it very clear he does not, he shares the opinion of the governor not to, new fees, no new fees, no new taxes.
yeah.
The Senate President came out over the weekend on a program and basically felt that the budget was deficient. And we've seen that schism happening at the legislature, so I you know, the most likely what it could mean is that, you know, you may have a prolonged budget process where if the House and Senate have different budgets and they go to conference committee, I think the goal would be to have a budget in by July 1st, but we've seen examples in recent years where the budget, they want a temporary budget and then until they resolve it. And if you remember, what was it, about a decade ago, it was November before they resolved the state budget. I don't think anybody's foreseeing that, but clearly, I mean, you see what's going on there. They're having a hard time getting out major pieces of legislation because of the different philosophies, you know, in between the House and the Senate. It's not like the gridlock in Washington where you have Democrats and Republicans. Here it's Democrats and other Democrats.
Yeah.
And some Republicans. It's the Massachusetts gridlock.
Mostly Democrats.
well, they all have a D next to their name,
Right,
but
and
it's
some-
a lot of different opinions.
But no, they're now in the place where they're holding hearings. I mean, the budget's out now. There'll be hearings around the state, and then as you know, the House budget won't come out until we're at town meeting, which will be the end of April. They'll have the Ways and Means budget 2 weeks prior to our town meeting in mid-April. That'll give us the snapshot of what the House is looking at,
Mm-hmm.
and be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions or thoughts?
One last time for the audience?
We're down to 4, but well, seeing none.
Move to adjourn?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for coming, everyone.
Yep, thank you for coming.
Most welcome. Glad we did.
Thank you for the comments. Did you get more?